I started playing football when I was around 4 years old. So at the time, my kuyas and I, we were very rowdy at home, and then we watched TV a lot, we eat a lot, and my parents wanted us to get into a more active lifestyle, and so sports was the way for them, and they chose football specifically because my dad played it when he was younger, and so they enrolled us in AFC or Ateneo Football Center, which is like it's a football clinic for kids in Ateneo. And I remember my first training session, I showed up nakasando at naka-crocs because I didn't have the attire. But yeah, since then, we consistently trained and I automatically fell in love with the sport and I just continued. I joined the varsity team and then I progressed to UAAP juniors and then UAAP seniors, and yeah, now I'm doing it as a career. I chose UP for a couple of reasons. One, my parents both study at UP and my grandpa as well studied at UP, so there's sort of that legacy, kumbaga, to continue and study there. Another is I studied in Ateneo for grade school and high school, and I felt that I already lived my Ateneo life, and I felt it was time to change. It was time for a change of environment and to grow elsewhere. And lastly, and most importantly, UP is known to have a really strong football program. And so, syempre, as a football player, I'd want to challenge myself in a new environment. And the UP football team just seemed to be the right choice. Athlete life in UP. Okay, let me just say first and foremost, I don't believe I was the best student athlete. There were definitely times I prioritized my football over some classes, and I would submit assignments late or go to class late, things like that. But I think obviously the most important part is balance, diba? And knowing your priorities and making sure that your schedule and that whatever you plan throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month should always reflect on your priorities and how you plan to get them. And so it's really a matter of being responsible with your assignments, as well as making sure that you get the proper rest for training and that you're mentally and physically prepared for training and classes, diba? And so yun, it's really just a balance. It sounds simple, but it was quite difficult, to be honest, but I survived and a lot of my friends survived, so it's possible for sure. Experience playing in UAAP was definitely full of ups and downs. So, the jump from high school football to college football is steep for sure. Players are bigger, stronger, faster, and football IQ is higher, and just overall the pace of the game is much faster. And so yun, like when I got into the team, there was definitely a lot of adjusting to do. It took me a while to match the pace of the game, but fortunately enough, I got into the UAAP lineup in my freshman year. But that year specifically was the pandemic year, and so our season was cut short after just 2 games. So we fast forward to post-pandemic. It was our first UAAP season back. It was season 85. And initially, our team looked really promising. We had a lot of players coming in from national team camp. We had a lot of um, very promising freshmen and new players coming into the team. And yeah, on paper, we looked really good. But unfortunately, we weren't able to reach the top four, the final four. And I individually felt that I underperformed. And yeah, it was difficult. It was a humbling moment. I learned a lot about myself as a football player and as a person during that period. And I think one other thing I have to mention is that at the end of our season, our teammate and a great friend, Yoro Sangare, if you've heard of him, he unfortunately passed away. And yeah, he was a great player and an even better friend. And his passing affected all of us. And I'd say that was probably the lowest point of my career as a football player. But that gave us more of a reason to be more motivated for next season and to be hungrier and to show resilience, much like what Yoro was all about, because he was a very hardworking guy, and yeah, he was just a great player, and we wanted to dedicate the next season for him. And so season 86 comes. It was my last year, and our team was mostly the same players. Maybe two people graduated from season 85 coming into season 86. And we had more players coming in to the UAP squad. Notably, si Ramil Bation, if you've heard of him. He was a freshman coming in, and he was very promising. And yeah, we definitely performed better in season 86. I think we finished second. So season 85, we had 3 wins, 6 draws, and 2 losses, something like that. Season 86, the next season, we get 9 wins and 3 losses. So major improvement, and I think we really showed to our football now we were hungry and that we wanted to prove something. And yeah, we eventually beat FU in the finals, and we were able to win that championship, and that was definitely the most fulfilling I've ever felt in my life, not just as a football player, but as a person, knowing that um, we we got through so many hardships as a team, and that we were able to dedicate it to our late teammate. And yeah, definitely one of the proudest moments in my life. My career at the PFL, I I was sort of set by my fifth year in college, my fifth and last year, na I would try to make it pro. So by the time we had finished season 86, I took a short break, and then I ended up contacting a lot of different players, coaches, staff from different teams, trying to schedule or trying to try out with them. Kumbaga. It wasn't easy. Parang, obviously, it's not guaranteed that just because you reach out, they'll give you a chance right away, diba? Like, that's just football. But I ended up trying out for Manila Digger FC, and I think the tryout lasted for about a month. I think when I tried out there were already two left back defenders, my position. So there were already two players in that spot, in that position, and so it made it that much more difficult to convince them to sign me, because they already have enough players in that position, diba? But unfortunately, they end up signing me, and yeah, I definitely enjoyed my time at Vigor. I felt that the players were all of them are very talented, and I learned a lot from them football wise, and the exposure was great. I think it was a good so my jump from college football to the pro level was also a really steep jump, and I think at Vigor they just showed me right away. I know that you played in your team, but this is how we play. And yeah, I was immediately humbled, and they definitely taught me a lot. And yeah, I'm not surprised to see them performing again in this season. So yeah, and then the next season, I signed with Aguilas FC, and I tried out with them for around, the tryout process was around 2 weeks, and fortunately they ended up signing me. And yeah, my experience so far with them has been great. The level there is also really high, and to be surrounded by players of that quality is also, it's a great experience, and it's a nice mix of players. We have a lot of young players there who are also really talented, and then you have these seasoned veterans who have been in the league for a while and are very helpful to us. And then you also have foreigners who are also seasoned veterans from different countries, and players who played in different countries as well. And it's great. And the management is really great. They're really helpful, and you can tell that they're always supportive of each and everyone in the team. I've been a defender for quite a while, now that I think of it. It wasn't my first position. I was originally a midfielder nung bata ako when we were still 7-a-side. But then, I think it wasn't my decision to be a defender, actually. relatively tall compared to my other teammates. Kaya nilagay na lang ako sa likod sa depensa na lang, di ba? Para tumulong na lang sa tuwing umaatake yung mga kalaban. But yeah, the defending role eventually grew on me and I stuck to being a defender. And then when I transitioned to 11-a-side pitch, I believe I was placed left back siguro before high school just because I like to attack a lot. But then, I was still pretty tall, so they wanted me to defend. So, yung compromise, the fullback na ako nilagay, di ba? And yeah, it's been my position ever since, and I've grown to love the position. I've had the privilege to be surrounded by a lot of great players in the PFL, and I respect and admire a lot of them and their experience and what they've taught me on and off the pitch. But if I had to choose one, siguro yung kapitan ko ngayon, si Kuya Nano Amita. Great person and a great football player. And you know Kuya Nano, diba? You've seen him before, you've seen him play, and he's not the tallest, he's not the quickest, but in terms of his technical ability, in terms of his football IQ, grabe. And yeah, he's very supportive and very helpful, and doing he wants me, he always has something to say to me, like to improve my game and to just continue learning. And whenever I have a question, I'm not afraid to approach him and ask, like, paano to? What do I do here? How do I do this? And he'll just answer it and try to make sure that he makes sure that I understand and that I improve my game. And I love him for that. I just want to see how he plays in person. Alam mo yun, like, you see it on TV, you see it on your phone, and you think, how is that even possible? So definitely Lamine Yamal. But sige, if we're keeping it regional, like Southeast Asia, I would take the Singaporean player, si Ikshan Pandi. He's a striker. Very good player, very strong, tall, and clinical finisher. I would love to see how he plays in person. So I'd love to defend him, go against him. Favorite country team, siyempre Pilipinas, but during the World Cup, I'll always support Argentina just because I'm a Messi fan. So yeah, I say Argentina. There's not really a deep story behind the number 2. I think number 2 was my first number as a kid, and I don't remember why exactly I chose number 2. I just I just chose it randomly as a kid, and I was able to keep the number throughout grade school to high school, and yeah, I just continue wearing it whenever it's available. Brian Palpanato, one view. Brian is my best friend in the team. So yes, I will say I can beat him one-on-one 10 times out of 10. I think I would pursue. Oh well, my plan after football is to enter law school and become a lawyer. And that still is my plan after football. But if I weren't a football player, I feel like I would be in law school right now. And I remember you sinend mo sa akin yung mga tanong na to. And I remember that last question. And I ended up getting on a debate with my friends about it. But my answer is, okay, Yamal 3, Mbappe 2, Neymar 1. Just because Neymar, I think he's at the twilight now of his career and he's achieved so much club level and internationally. But Mbappe is a close second, and I'm sure when his career is said and done, he'll surpass Neymar at the rate that he's going. And Lamine Yamal also. And batang-bata pa 18, and for sure he will accomplish so much in his career, and it's likely that it's definitely possible that he'll finish better than Mbappe and Neymar, diba? But as of now, just because he's younger and the two others are more experienced, I'll put him at 3. Yamal 3, Mbappe 2, Neymar 1.
Thank you for watching.